Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, the chief host and vice chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor C.A. Igwe, the Catholic bishop of the Awka Diocese, His Lordship, the Most Reverend Paulinus Eze-Okafor, chairman of the session, Professor Bennett Nwaguma, Director, Center for Lion Gadgets and Technologies of the University of Nigeria, Reverend Father Dr. Edward Anoliefo, the chairperson of the local organizing committee, Engineer Dr. Ijeoma Ezika, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be here with you all this morning at the Lion Gadgets and Technologies Conference. Reverend Father Anoliefo, thank you very much for your kind invitation. And I must also commend the center for the excellent work of innovation and creativity that is being done. I was excited to hear some of the work being done in drying for post-harvest losses and the innovations in 3D printing and so many others that Reverend Father Anoliefo mentioned. It's also exciting to see so many young people gather for this important conversation on technology innovation for holistic, sustainable development. Development is obviously an important metric for measuring progress, but as opposed to growth, it speaks to actual improvement in quality of life and living standards. But the conference theme today even goes further. It speaks of sustainable development. In other words, the aim is not development at all costs. In fact, in the words of the United Nations, sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And I think that we really need to think about what this means, because effectively, unless we commit to developing sustainably, our futures will be at risk. So in thinking about solutions to our developmental issues, we're expected to be both creative, relevant, and ingenious, which is what innovation is all about. But we must also be faithful stewards of our environment. We must be inclusive. Innovation must be accessible to all, especially the poor and the vulnerable. So innovating for sustainable development involves creating environmentally friendly, low-cost, and contextually relevant technological solutions to some of our most pressing challenges. Recently, the Nigeria Climate Innovation Center concluded its climate launch pad, and some very innovative ideas were unveiled. One of the innovator companies, New Digits, generates power from water. The product uses water and conformed solar cells to generate energy for electricity and cooking. It actually works by collecting water automatically from any piping channel in the house. It breaks down the water into hydrogen, which is used to cook and to power the entire house without a need for batteries of any kind. Power Stove Energy was founded by three Nigerian young men and women, Okay, Abdulaziz, and Glory. Now, what they do is that they produced a low-cost, clean, smokeless cook stove. And Power Stove Energy is the first clean cook stove to be fitted with self-powered Internet of Things cloud system to monitor in real time, every day, every day that cooking is done, the amount of CO2 that is used and the biomass that is saved, the black carbon prevented and total electricity generated. All of that is monitored on a real-time basis every day. Our digital age technology is a key part of these solutions. When we look at human capital development, for example, everyone is turning to technology in search of new ways to solve the same old problems. So we have health tech firms like 54Gene, and I'm sure some of us are familiar with their work, who are using technology to harness African genomic data and transform how we are able to study and diagnose diseases. This is so that we can grow up in a society where healthcare research can serve us better. An illustrative example also of how technology innovation can be used for sustainable development. In education too, COVID-19, I think, has showed us just how adaptive we can be. And there are a number of ed tech firms, such as ULesson, where students can take lessons and tests on an app. If scaled, this could completely revolutionize how we approach challenges, especially to do with access to education. We're in one of the worst health and economic crises in living memory, and our recovery must depend entirely on innovation. We must employ never-before-seen methods to fight the never-before-seen plethora of issues before us. Whether we are discussing the delivery of social services to vulnerable communities and promoting financial inclusion, or we are talking about boosting agricultural productivity and promoting security of our communities, how we harness technology is absolutely crucial. The future will be decided in groups such as yours, in centers such as yours, where young Nigerians are actively thinking about how to deploy technology in creative ways for problem solving. We must creatively imagine and pioneer our way out. And as some of our country's best and brightest, you are perfectly positioned to show us all the way. I was asked to give a word of encouragement to you today, but I might say it is I who feel encouraged just by being in your presence this morning. I'm encouraged by your creative potential, and we've already heard quite a bit of that from Reverend Father Anolefu. Your willing and brilliant minds and your dedication to the sustainable development of our society. So I'm certainly looking forward to the outcome of the discussions at this conference. And I hope you all have a wonderful conference and you take the solutions and the discussions that you have here and put them back into the real world for the betterment of us all. And I listened to, I think it was the chairman of the session, when he talked about the relationship between industry and university, between university and industry, and that it was a weak relationship. And I agree with you entirely, Chairman. I think you're absolutely right. That relationship is a weak one, and it ought to be strengthened. But it will not take just government. You know, a lot of these sorts of things also will require the university system to do a bit more in terms of linking up with industry. Government is prepared, just as you said, government and university already have an established relationship. But I think the universities also have to do much more in terms of being proactive in the links with industry. Industry, as you know, is interested in commerce. I mean, if it will make profit, if it will make money, industry is interested. So I think that a lot of the innovations we're seeing are certainly profitable and can be lucrative. But where government can come in is in where there are needs for any kinds of additional support to make the research either easier or cheaper for the public to access. So I certainly look forward to the cooperation between the federal government and the University of Nigeria. I was at the University of Nigeria, I believe, in 2018, and we had discussions again around these issues of technology. I even had a chance to look around some of the university establishments, especially, I'm not so sure whether it was a center we went to, but there was a lot of talk about technology and innovation at the time, and some support that I believe the Chinese were giving. But I'm really excited about the work that you're doing, and I certainly pledge to be a part of it in whatever way you think that will be relevant. Thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to say a few words, and I wish you again very fruitful deliberations. God bless you.
The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, GCON, Mr. Peter Obi, former Governor, Anambra State, Nigeria, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Charles Arinzechukwu Igwe, members of the Governing Council of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, principal officers of the university. My name is Comrade Stephen C., the Student Union Government President of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and the President of the Southeast Students Association. His Excellency, we appreciate your concern for students. Practically, we have been home for too long. Some students have even started learning one skill or the other. What is your administration doing to empower the universities in Nigeria to impart more meaningful skills to the students such that fresh graduates can employ themselves? Last year, the Center for Lion Gadget and Technologies organized free training for students just before lockdown. They advertised for similar training, but now students have to pay 10,000 naira per person. Can the government, as part of our own palliative, pay for some students to participate in the program? We can boast of highly motivated and innovative students. Can you, as a product of the university, help to push for a platform where students of the universities, colleges, and other institutions can display their innovations? Thank you, His Excellency.
Comrade, thank you very much. First, let me say that I think I'll start with the last question, which is how I, as a product of the university, can help to push a platform where students of universities can display their innovation. I think that's already happening. If you recall, we started a students' challenge, students' innovation challenge, for all universities, for all, in Nigeria. We actually came even as far as the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. There's a hub called the Genesis Hub in Enugu, where the competition took place for the Southeast. 3 winners came out of University of Nigeria, 3 winners, Androck, Balloon Drone, and Smart Health. These are the 3 names of the winners. They came out of the University of Nsukka. Each winner was given ₦1 million. There were 25 winners. So that's happening already. I mean, that's our commitment. We're committed to ensuring that innovation is done and that we're able to do this on a continuous basis. We were also supposed to continue the challenge even this year, but for the COVID-19, I don't think it's necessarily late. But this is a platform which we've established for that purpose, the Students' Innovation Challenge. And I think that it's one that it went all over the country. Now, the second question you asked, I think, was about how the government could support the training that is currently being done by the Center for Lion Gadgets and Technologies, and that this may be part of your own palliatives. Comrade, you don't look like you need any palliatives. I mean, you look very well indeed. As a matter of fact, you look as if you put on a bit of weight since this lockdown. But quite seriously, I cannot commit government to anything financial at this point. But I can say for myself that I will certainly look at ways by which I can support the participation of students, possibly through our Students' Innovation Challenge. We'll see how we can support the current effort of the Lion Gadgets and Technologies. So I think that that's something we might be able to do for a few students. I think we might be able to do that as part of our Students' Challenge. We will certainly support. The other question that you asked is how the government can support the universities in equipping students for more meaningful skills. Well, I'm not so sure that that is really that's the business of government. I think the universities are already well up to the challenge. The business of developing programs and developing this innovation is really what the universities are created for. And I believe that what we're seeing today is evidence of that. Lion Gadgets and Technologies, this center is committed to innovation. This is what we want to see across our universities. It is this sorts of innovative ideas that we want to see across our universities. so that it then becomes the norm that we're not just, it's not just for delivery of instructions, it's also for the promotion of innovation. Whatever it is that government is required to do, I think government can do. But frankly, I think that the question should be directed at the university system, and of course, as you said, I belong to that system, and I think that it's right for universities to actively be involved in innovation. Government support, of course, is one that we must, our role is to support whatever efforts the universities are making. So thank you again, comrade. I think that those are my answers to your question.
Unmuted. Okay. All right. You can ask. Start.
His Excellency, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN Gcon, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, Vice Chancellor and other principal officers of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, all members of the Governing Council. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy that I've been given this chance to ask this question. I am President Nachatama from University of Nigeria Secondary School in Nsukka. I would like to appreciate the Center for Learning Gadgets and Technology for the hackathon and training we got from them last year. We are really happy that we participated and we gained a lot. Our dear Vice President, it is quite evident from your speech that your government is working towards a holistic development of Nigeria. Permit me therefore to point out that we are filled with envy when we realize that some primary school pupils in some parts of the world are being taught robotics. Since the world is being considered as one big village, how then do we compete with such people? Is there nothing the government can do to ensure early exposure of students to such technology? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Praise. Thank you for that question. And I agree with you entirely that first, the world has become a very competitive one, and students have to be exposed to current and cutting-edge technology. But again, I think that this is something that we have to work together with the school systems. Already, the government, the federal government, has designed a program for STEM education. We call our own STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. The focus of that program is really on creating an environment where critical thinking, innovation, and all that, including the use of AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, and all of the current technologies are in play. Now, it's now important for the school systems also to develop the programs. These programs have to be developed by school systems. It's not just, you see, it's so easy to always ask, what is the government doing? What is the government doing? Government does not create programs in universities. Government supports programs. So I think, or in secondary schools and in primary schools, a few secondary schools are already in different parts of the country using robotics, teaching code writing, teaching various things. But it's certainly not, it is not accessible yet. And that's part of what I said in my speech. It needs to be accessible to everyone. So once we have these programs in place, there's a lot more funding from government can come into ensuring that this is available in public secondary schools, is available to everyone. But we're still, we're still quite a ways. I know that government can do a lot more. But I'll also think too that we must develop those programs under the very extended curriculum that the government has put in place. Those programs have to be developed by schools, and when they're developed, government support is very much a part of that. And I agree with you that government should support it. So let's look forward to a lot more progress. I think that we're all thinking about this. We're all working towards it. And I believe that very soon, we should be able to see a lot more progress in that respect.
Thank you, sir.